Hello, hello, hello. Successful stream last night. I'm gonna play some music. There's a guy talking here. It's just... So
over the winter, I did lots of changes to the harp in the way that it sounds. So to give it a more medieval sound. And so that's why
here's the guy talking.
The really hardcore medieval music out of the medieval manuscripts. As a kind of experiment to see how it works, to see if it's really true or not. That the harp's better now, or it was a great big mistake, and I have to undo everything and get back to how it was last year.
Training live stream Tuesday. Getting started with world composition.
So I'm going to play just a
That'll be cool.
Medieval tunes.
So the project works and everything. It's pretty awesome.
Medieval manuscripts. So we'll start really local with the cathedral music book, just from down the road to the cathedral ruins. And this is a hymn to St Andrew himself. I'm not going to sing it, but I'll play it out of the book on the harp.
Join my Discord channel. Let's see if I can successfully type this from my copy from my Mac. So. That's it. Yeah. What's up, Mitch? So, it was cool. Rule 1 said it looked beautiful. He was really gushing over it, so that was awesome. He's in Poland, and he had a really good internet connection, so he hosted a game. And it looked pretty smooth, but it wasn't to show off the game yet, it was just to check to make sure it does indeed package. I can keep working on this, I can make it look good. So one of the first things that I noticed was that the movement is just whacked out. So, I mean, this is because of this, and this. So, we're gonna redress these issues today. As well as I'm gonna do some nativization. I'm gonna nativize some blueprints. Maybe I should just nativize all and just see if it works out. I'm gonna go in the folders and delete some stuff. But let's take a look at this crazy. Alright. Gulp. That's for the profile camera. That's the stuff I recently added. Okay, so follower. First person view is just an add movement input. Follow camera is add movement input of rotation. But this is the standard code that's built in. This is just not necessary here. This stuff, what's this? Check profile cam turning. That's all this crazy stuff. That's okay. I don't need to worry about that, really. It's the running straight. Yeah, here. So, is crouching. If you're not crouching, cool, then we'll do this. If not, then nothing. Start running, second months. So it's going from here. Been messing around on my game. Oh, cool. Huh. And by the way, this is Creative Commons. Just a YouTube guide, so let you know. Let's see. So start running server. Execute on server. Custom event is running. That's for animation. Start running. Execute on all. See, now that's just why did that needed to be set to execute on all, or else. See, what I need to do is clean up because there's these timers that are telling it to add and subtract things from the stamina bar. Get stamina attributes. Oh, I'm getting from this player state here. That's get stamina attributes. So
this one is an instrumental song for.
It's fine. When does this happen? God, I was just going crazy, just trying to make things work and not really caring about how it works. So I guess it's not really
symmetrical. There's 12 variations. And they
On the controller,
like architecture of a
sets
cathedral,
get stamina
or
attributes.
perhaps
Oh.
like the decorated pages in the gospel book.
What?
You look at the page, you know, like in the book of Kells, and all you see is a giant cross that's all very complicated. You look closer, you see the cross is made up of little panels.
Okay.
You look at each panel.
So that's just to load your character,
You look at the
your
tile,
race,
and each
if
tile
you
is
change
very
characters.
really interlaced. You look at one of
The way I have that worked out is kind of messed up too.
And then you look back out and you see it's probably hundreds.
Let me see.
Of these. Do you see what I mean? It's this kind of every layer is depth.
Okay, roll a few decibolts back. Decibolts. Oh, I should have decibolts as a magic spell. That would be sick. So, I'm really scared of just hacking into this. I wonder if I should just copy it and just recreate from scratch. It's just a bunch of timers and clearing this and clearing that. It makes the stamina bar go up and down correctly. So it's well thought out. It's just, it appears messy and I don't remember how it works. And it's just affecting this stuff. I think the problem is that it's all this execute on all business in order to adjust the stamina bar. I probably just need an execute on run on client because I'm coming out of a run on server. So let me try this. And change all of these as well. Let me see. This should be decent, right? Can you hear me alright? How about if I just raise my voice? Oh, raise my voice up like that. I'll just put them both down at 5. How about that? Does this seem reasonable? Second. Truck driving by and the recording was rumbling. It's pretty cool. I have really good headphones, so it's nice to be able to hear that. So I'm just changing these. For some reason you can't... Music is pretty loud. Roll it back on here a little bit. I don't know. Let's try that, see if it's any smoother. Yeah, but anything you would do differently, or things that, like, Rule 1 suggested having a toggle to be able to make the camera lock the viewport so you don't have to hold down a mouse button to turn the camera, which is just not the way I would control things, and I thought I would just make the game the way I want to control things, but it's like, yeah, I should provide options to have more people be able to do things their way. So, what kind of stuff like that? Did you notice anything weird about the way the controls or the camera works that you would do differently? The chat system's really messed up. I gotta work on that, too. Alright, but I guess we're gonna try this. Sorry about that. Pardon me, pardon me. Wait for the grass to grow up. Wow, really? That's pretty cool. Obviously, the water doesn't work at all. There's no swimming yet. And it's the motion of the animation here on the client server stuff. If you're the server, still it's a little bit wonky too. But is it working correctly is the question. Appears to be doing so. Oh. It just like went back to the top when I hit. Maybe it's because the combat tab thing is taking from the server side. Yeah, the dodge roll thing didn't work right. But I think it might be okay to do it that way. Let's see this. So I have to finish doing that. But this. Let's change that. Change it on the clients. And then it's really stupid that I have to do this, each of these in the server, and I can't just do like all of it, like a sequence, you know? Would seem to make sense. Let's try it. Right, so I'll just do a sequence. And let's just say, work, goddamn you. I am Armando, and I say you will work. Zarathustra says yes. Shit, wait. False go. Like, that doesn't do it. I need to do this, and then true dodge right. Yeah, no. So this true false thing. So we'll just keep it going. Oh. Let me just finish this out then. Let's see. So this goes here, this goes here. Custom event. Server dodge right. Forward right. Hit Control T to chat. But it doesn't appear above the head. I must have taken it out in a fit of rage and What's error? What is error? Let's just do this again.
I'll continue with another vocal piece from the St. Andrew's Cathedral music book.
Oh, you know what I want to try actually? The magic button. So there's a magic button that might fix my problem, which is kind of a cool thing. Right. So I'm gonna try that real quick. You want to see the magic button? You guys you all know about my structure bug, right? Or that started because of the structures. One can only assume. Well, we're going to try this magic button. We're on the third-person blueprint right now, and what happens is if I close the project, start it over again. We can hear you. Hear me doing what? So, refresh nodes. There's a refresh all nodes somewhere. I want refresh all nodes. And give me a regular node. That's it. All these are events. Give me a node here. Okay, refresh nodes.
You know which side you're
I heard there's a refresh all nodes button. I'll try refresh nodes. How about I just do Control A, refresh nodes. Oof, it's doing something. I just saved the properly compiled version, everything backed up good too, so I can mess around a bit here. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's save it, compile it, and I don't know, let's just start it over again and see if anything's weird. If it's weird, that might be normal. If it's not weird, that might mean that that magic button fixes my issues. Oh, sometimes I feel like I need to type so that it's in the permanent record. So that it's displayed forever. So, pardon me if this all appears to be crashage, but I'm gonna close this out and see how it loads. And if I have to do some rewiring, just pardon it. It's part of the show. Ah. So that's the problems. So it didn't really fix. What if I do the refresh all nodes now while it's unplugged? See, it's compiled. Error. Try compile. Maybe if what I do is I connect them all, hit refresh all nodes, and then save. And then I'm just not going to do another experiment. I don't want to do this a second time. A second time. Now go away or we will taunt you a second time.
For example, when St. Columba came across to Scotland, and there was a famous meeting between Columba and Kentigern, the apostles of the Picts and the Scots, and they had a great meeting somewhere near Glasgow. And St. Columba's monks sang the word sanctity. I don't remember what Kentigern's monks sang, but he had a confab. And the other story is even more fascinating. Is St. Brendan, who is the famous wandering monk. He made a little boat, like a high boat, to go on the sea and sail out into the Atlantic and all fabulous places. He landed one night on a little island and there was a fire.
Hey, what's up, real Lucas?
That kind of adventure.
Alright, so save, close, do it again. What forest do you mean? See, so now those errors, you see that? That's not there. Everything's fine, dandy. Okay. But again, I don't know if it will happen again because I'm not going to bother testing, doing that again. So, but there's a lot of stuff that needs to be redone. Is this happening anywhere? No. Okay. Should I index my blueprints? Let's just do that for a minute. No, let's not do that, actually. Just save it. Alright. I wonder if maybe what I could do is just never compile this blueprint. So if I edit it, just save it, close, restart, and let it handle it. So it might just be hitting the compile button might be doing so. I wonder if options here. Save and compile. Oh, might as well do that. Let's see. So the crouching. first game. Oh, yeah, I haven't played it. But I hear a lot of good things about it. Obviously, I kind of knew that's what you were talking about, I just wasn't sure. We're cooking some boneless ribs today. Just throw it in a crock pot with some onions. Oof, you can smell it. It's gonna be smelling for hours. I wish I could share the smell with you guys. Hey, if this is Creative Commons attributions license, I mean, I can basically actually put this in my game, I think. That's how that shit works. I'm digging it a lot. This is like the second time I played it here. Let me know what you guys think. If it's chill enough, doesn't have enough down-tempo beat. Yeah, it's the kite demo. Assets are just amazing. I was tripping out at it, not literally, but just staring at the leaves. The way they did the rendering on leaf foliage stuff, like I was watching a stream, it literally is rendering light passing through it as like a semi-translucent object. It looks awesome. It's really freaking cool, and the fact that you can just plop it in there, well, with just enough skill, is really awesome. Back and to the left. Okay. Alright. I'll just compile and just whatever. That's cool. It's actually literally real old music. Like the guy said at the beginning, he's doing hardcore medieval. Harp is a replica of the medieval Scottish Queen Mary Classic, and some songs from St. Andrews, Thomas Becket, early medieval chant. It's really cool stuff on here. So yeah, I'll be playing this a lot for sure. See if I can just get away from the okay. None of my video game music playing in this. Hey, what's up, El Krzalik? Good to see some familiar faces here. It's like there's a gang, it's a party forming. Alright, who's Raceland? I call Raceland, too late. Oh. What? Fuck. My backspace key doesn't want to function. I think I broke my backspace key. Okay, now I don't know what's up. If my keyboard is just broken? No, because that works here. Now sprint isn't working here at all. Okay, so the meter is going down, but the movement change isn't happening. And I don't think it's any smoother for it. Let's just take it outside. Maybe it's just too much. I'm just doing too much crap on my computer right now. Let that grass slowed in. Still hasn't loaded. What's happening to the frames? Is it just because I'm being stupid and running a million things? Yeah, you like that massive platform? It's my start of like what the Dark Elf Palace sort of area would be like. Oh, I gotta plug in my laptop. I got it. Alright. So 70 frames per second now. Let's try this again. 90, 60, 70. So yeah, it's the fact that I'm running like multiple clients and consoles on the same computer. That's why the frames plummet. It worked pretty swimmingly on the playtest last night. Still, it's just this movement jitter I'm trying to work out. No, I think now I could just this is what networking here. So I have it disabled, but maybe because it doesn't appear to apply to these guys, but their skeleton. Is there an option to like applies to component replicates? Let's just say yes. That seems like an obvious. Maybe I can hit this on when you're moving? When you're running? But anyway, look what happens if I do... Let's try exponential even. But the problem is that it doesn't synchronize with the clothing, so if I just save compile. Yeah, I did the character models with make human, which is just like basically your standard MMO character creation thing. What is going on here? Is that because, yeah, you have to minimize the editor drastically. Alright. So I use that. It's basically like an MMO character creator, and the exports you can use from that in your game, you can sell them. But you can't use make human itself like inside your game. That's the deal. Alright, so let's say, again, this guy now. Alright. I put the wrong names on them. So, didn't I enable it? Oh wait, you can see I'm like, I let go of the keyboard and kept moving. But, it's a fair deal better. No? It's just maybe because of streaming and stuff. It just looks super jittery. Maybe it's because of the foliage? No, it's like... stuttering, flickering, zip, 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 zip. That's like network package thing. Because I'm streaming too, so it's just a good test of what's like when you're in bad conditions. Stream. Decent frames. Alright. Let's do the... This is a great stream. Stream. Science of the magic of... Magic? What the fuck? From Holy Grail to Love Potion, that's what it is, but it's just like I just want it to be found at the top of this search. This guy. There we go. Oh, there's other... What are all these? What the frick? Like 21 second long. They're probably like trying to get people to watch it who think it's the book being read. Anyway, this is a great little interview. We'll listen to this.
Stories including The Princess Bride, but also mythology and magic and religion, and it takes a scientific bent, and you have done some scientific investigation where less intrepid scientists might fear to go.
No, I'm gonna have to...
You know, I think the really important thing to point out with this book in particular is that
change these all back
it's
to
not a paranormal book. This is a book that's really about science.
Let's try
and
server.
I try very hard.
So, yeah, this is why I changed them to multicast.
To take a cool and neutral scientific approach to the myths of our ancestors. And I ask the question, okay, were they just crazy when they made this stuff up, or might they have seen things in the natural world around them and then wrote their stories or told their stories about the things that they couldn't understand to try to digest it? Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think a really good example of this would be something like, do you remember the chapter on the Vikings where I talked about Odin and Thor and the ravens that sat on Odin's shoulders?
That's one of the places where I think intrepid scientists would fear to go when you were chasing ravens around to see the wolf kill. So yes, I do. Yes.
That was just wild stuff because, you know, you have this mythology associated with the two ravens. They were named Hugin and Mugen. And in the mythology, there's all of this anxiety over losing sight of the ravens. If you lose sight of the ravens, that's a really bad thing. Similarly, seeing a wolf is a good omen. And that's so weird. I mean, and more than just a good omen, it actually says in the Elder Edda, which is the one of the few pieces of literature that we have on the Viking mythology, it says that Geir and Frigg, which are the names of the two wolves, Geir and Frigg feed the warfaring followers of Odin.
Oh, that's a good idea. I do want to do like a graphics settings. That's something I want to, one of my next study topics that I'll do. Because that's important, so I can get people who don't have the best computers to run it too, but also just to enable cooler things too.
Steal food if they can get it, and I mean wolves in particular are competitors with a lot of the food that we would normally go after. And so I started asking questions, as you do when you're a journalist, and I called a bunch of the wolf researchers up in Yellowstone National Park who are studying the reintroduction of wolves to the park because they were exterminated in the 1920s. And I said, do you guys see anything interesting going on between ravens and wolves? And they said, boy, do we. They found that when wolves were reintroduced to the park, while ravens once followed grizzly bears and mountain lions and coyotes sort of all over the place, when wolves were reintroduced, the ravens started following the wolves to the exclusion of almost all wolves. And more importantly, the researchers pointed out that when they did their work, if they wanted to know where a wolf made a kill, they would actually use the ravens as their key identifying mark. Because ravens create so much mayhem and create such a ruckus that you can see wolves making a kill from over a mile away by just looking out for ravens. That got me thinking, because when you look at tribes in Africa today, the Hadza, they're hunter-gatherers, they look at vultures in the sky, they follow vultures to lion kills, and then work together with spears to drive lions off their kills, grab a chunk of wildebeest, and come back to camp. Is it possible that our ancestors were doing the same sort of thing, following ravens to wolf kills, and then sewing that into their stories? And that's why I ended up in Yellowstone. I was testing out, can you follow ravens to wolf kills reliably? And if you were legally allowed to go and steal meat from wolves in Yellowstone, would that be possible? And the answer is yes. I mean, we ran around in the winter of Yellowstone for a week and found multiple wolf kills. Incidentally, all of that is on a matterofactandfiction.com, my website, which records a lot of the video from this. I mean, we followed ravens first to a dumpster, and that was a little upsetting. But then, about an hour later, we found ravens taking off and followed them, and they slowly led us over this rise, and then to 3 wolves that were circling an elk, which we caught on camera. And that was just remarkable. I'd never imagined. So I think what probably happened was that the generations before the Vikings, when they were still hunting and gathering, folks used ravens to go to wolf kills, and they viewed the ravens as a divine omen because they led them to food. And they believed that the wolves were providing for them, and that this was associated with Odin, and that's what we see in the mythology. You can't know for sure, but that's where ecology meets myth, and that's what a lot of the book is about.
Yes, and I really enjoyed that. There's a couple of details in that story too. One of them is, in Africa the meat spoils pretty fast, but being in the northern latitudes, the window for accessing the meat would be even larger, and so it's even more likely that the Vikings relied upon this omen. But the other thing that was interesting was that the ravens and the wolves kind of looked out for each other. The ravens would find prey that would be more vulnerable for the wolves from time to time, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's another side to this. And, okay, fine, I just tied in the Odin and Thor myths to ecology, but you can go the other way and go with modern mythology. I have no idea if George R.R. Martin is aware of it, but there is a period of time every year where wolves find their destiny by following ravens. I mean, and by that point, in Game of Thrones, you've got this concept of the dire wolves of Winterfell, which is a symbol of the Stark family, following this raven to the north, and it's leading Brandon Stark to his destiny. In Yellowstone National Park, when the snows are at their very deepest and the winter is at its most,
The good old unplug it, plug it back in
wolves
fix.
can't search around for prey very well. And so ravens, while they steal meat from wolves for most of the year, they're tolerated largely because, it's because ravens circle around over weakened elk or diseased deer and lead wolves from their dens to places where they can make the kill, so it's easier for them. So the ravens are kind of earning their keep, and it's not a parasitism. The ravens aren't stealing all year round because they're also giving back to the wolves.
Wait for the grass to pop in.
And I just think that's so cool.
And they often play with the wolf pups sometimes, and that's
They do?
tolerated as well.
That is tolerated as well. So the papers
He's just
that
not doing the
have
animation.
These have largely been anecdotal findings that
The
have
hell?
been reported in the papers as, wow, we noticed that. And one of the big things I've noticed is that ravens actually come, and when the wolves are breeding, when wolf pups are growing and being cared for in the den, they come and they'll...
I guess
they'll
because the
poke
run
the
is done on
wolf's
server.
tail, the pup's tail. And in this way,
We'll
they
just keep this
think
the way it did
ravens,
work and
aside from just helping to teach pups
think.
how to
So let me just do this
interact
first.
with other animals, they think what the ravens are doing is helping the future pack members to become comfortable with them, so that when they dive in to take a bite of slain elk, the wolves don't rip them to pieces.
And we should add that while the poem that you mentioned, the Edda talks about Odin, there is mention in the Bible, in the Old Testament, of ravens having been sent by God to feed Elijah when he was nearing starvation. So.
Yes, I find it interesting, though, that the ravens bring bread and cheese, I think. I can't remember what it is that they actually bring him, but it's definitely not freshly slain elk.
Okay.
You don't see ravens bringing the prophets much in the way of meat. They're always simple things. But, yes, there's this concept of the raven as a provider, and I think that's
I feel like this stuff should be able to happen. Maybe like this needs to be execute on all. Maybe this stuff can be client only. Let me just make sure this works, and then I'll come back and try that instead.
Let's look at healing a moment, thinking yourself well, and the Holy Grail and some of that, because I found that fascinating to me. I belong to a church that believes in prayer and healing.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
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 I was raised largely without religion, and as a scientist, I tend to lean towards being a non-believer, although I have tremendous respect for those who are. One of the things that I found really amazing was in 2013, this paper slid across my desk at The Economist, and it basically showed that folks who engaged in a certain type of happiness regularly had different responses in their immune systems. So the
What the
sort of
heck?
more expanded version of that is you actually have multiple types of happiness that you experience on a daily
Is it because it's...
you can
What's
have
going on,
the
though?
happiness associated with winning $1,000 in Las Vegas.
Hold on.
That's known as hedonic happiness. You can also have eudaimonic happiness, which is the happiness that you feel when you help an old lady across the street or do something for somebody else.
Welcome.
We call them both happy.
Oh yeah, shout out to Jezza, whose game is on Steam Greenlight right now. He did the voices here. Let me get this up on my screen. Oh yeah, shout out to Jezza, whose game is on Steam. Oof, my laptop was playing. Sorry for the background music. It's called Cold Comfort. Let's see, posted in here. Check this out. It's a voice actor who contributed free stuff to the game, and you'll hear it in a moment here.
Welcome
And they found
to the
that they had a
halls of
30%
creation.
increase in
Yeah.
expression of
Alright, so I want to just check. Oh, yeah, it's not moving faster even on the blueprint here.
bacterial and viral
Maybe it's because they're not all saved.
Those folks had bodies that were working really hard to help them to better fight off disease. Now, that does not mean that... and I think that's kind of cool because you have it in certainly the biblical literature where Jesus Christ, Mark, Luke, Matthew as well, says...
What's all this then? Well, this is all an RPG here. I'm trying to make it run smooth before I get too fancy with it.
And so, that's pretty...
And I had something working before, now it doesn't seem to be doing it. It's typical.
Now, where I would
Like literally just a minute ago.
This is the way stories go through time. They get shaped. When Jesus heals people of leprosy, I'm not convinced that you could think yourself well out of leprosy. I definitely don't think you could think yourself well out of a car accident. Because the immune response that we're seeing is an association...
Well, I could
with
just
viruses
quickly
and
test
infectious
the
bacteria.
dodge thing that I implemented instead.
Could, let's say, if you were...
Alright, let's go. 1, 2.
BC, and you were ill, and your family members came around to you and said, we're all going to go together on a pilgrimage to the great temple of our God, and we're going to sacrifice our most valuable goat to help you get better, and we're going to pray for several days together. This act of pinning your fate to something much bigger than you, being with family, making
Oh,
a
man.
sacrifice of the family to do to this great being of belief would trigger eudaimonic happiness on a really big level.
Wow, that's broke as hell.
And that's where I think that you start to see some truth in a lot of this fiction. I mean, I'm not calling all of the Bible fiction, but I'm saying that if you look at the mythology there, you can find little bits and pieces that are remarkably important. And, we so often separate science from mythology,
What's that?
and that may not always be the most sensible of things.
Yeah, and I too think that there's a mix of fact and fiction in a lot of the stuff that we are looking at in literature and mythology and even scripture. And you talk about the health benefits that are sometimes explained by divine intervention, and actually biology's at work in some cases. But the regeneration part is really interesting to me, and you know, another one of my favorite myths is most of Marvel Comics, and you mentioned the Wolverine here in the regeneration part. And it's interesting how that came about, looking at nature, and they see regeneration in other kinds of animals, earthworms, clams, flatworms. But there's legends about regeneration, and we know, for instance, that the liver, even when a large portion of it is cut away, it regenerates itself in the human body.
It does. It does. I mean, so the work that we're talking about there is, you go back to, I think it's like 1926 or something. You know, honestly, I don't remember these dates terribly well off the top of my head. But we know that research done early on, I'm sorry, it was 1931. A team of researchers were looking at rat livers, and they noticed that when they
hello, what have we here?
rat liver through via
In it.
surgery and then sewed the rat back up, that
I.
72 hours
Oops.
the liver would regenerate to
I am in
that
it.
in the archives of mythology, and that
QQ.
has been replicated multiple times ever since. So it's not a fluke. Incidentally, by the way, with the Thinking Yourself Well stuff that was published in 2013, that was an interesting study, but since got replicated just
Thanks.
this year.
OU, cheers for being here. I keep reading. OU, I'm going to sleep. It's funny.
You don't just get one.
I keep reading every sentence with your name at the
when you
beginning.
can repeat it
Oh, there we go.
multiple times, then you know
That
you're
seems
onto
to like
it. Which is
that.
why I published the Think Yourself
It's just
Well
funny.
into this book, because
Okay,
otherwise,
is she on
I
screen
think
here?
you should dismiss this
Alright,
as
so we're back to where we
well.
were
Be
before.
careful with this. But with the liver
This is how it
stuff,
currently works.
that what's true of that liver is very much true of the
And is
human liver.
turning.
You can chop out huge chunks
No.
of it, and it will grow back
Fix
as long
turning.
as you don't die from having your liver excised. So that raises all kinds of questions, because you've got these myths of Prometheus,
To fix the
and
profile
another
turning.
giant who killed Apollo and Artemis's
To fix
mother.
first
No,
person
no, first.
turning.
Giant race
Um,
thing. But either way, you've got all of these myths associated with heroes.
Oh, and
like
our
Prometheus,
right mouse button
who are
held down
tied
for
up
strafing.
or
Because I'm walking
chained
backwards,
to
but it
rocks
looks like I'm not.
and left
Alright.
to be eaten alive by animals.
So
And
that would be
and the organ that
under.
animals always eat is their liver,
Right.
and then the liver always magically regenerates it for the next day, so the pain can be eternal. Now,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
classicists love to argue that because the liver was
True.
the seat of the
Use
soul in
command
ancient
to-
times, that this is why the liver was selected to be the organ of torture. And that makes sense, I buy that. But the fact that the liver is the only organ in the body that regenerates at that rate raises some questions that I think are very interesting. And certainly a lot of folks in the world of medical science ask the same question. I was interviewing Dr. Tiniakos in Athens, Tina Tiniakos. She's also at Newcastle University now. And she was pointing out to me that they still require a certain degree of supernatural explanation at conferences when they talk about liver regeneration, because we just don't know how it works.
Right. And the beliefs of the Greeks was that it was the source of the soul, so that makes it a more important organ than, say, the gallbladder or the pancreas. But there's also this protein, Lin-28, which is more prevalent in infants, that has something to do with rapid healing.
Yeah, so you're talking about Dr. George Daly's work at Harvard Medical School. I got a lot of time to talk to George last year because I was at Harvard as a fellow. And one of the things that's really interesting is that we are moving, I would say, remarkably / perilously close to being able to make something like the Wolverine from Marvel Comics a reality. And the reason I say perilously is because what
was
folks
it?
can do
Yeah.
is amazing, but we just need to tread so slowly and make sure that what
Just
we do
save that
is
there.
both
Okay.
right and not going to harm anybody. So here's the deal. There is this compound known as Lin-28, and Lin-28 is found in fetuses and then also in babies, and it's at its highest concentrations when you're really, really young. And as you get older, Lin-28 fades from your
Yeah,
system.
this is just
And
blueprints.
so at
It's
the
just like
second
one
stage,
thought after
your
another.
ability to heal rapidly fades.
Just each of these is like a do this thing, do that thing. Let's just keep it in I'm just keeping these up here as reference in case I don't. This should take care of all of
Our
that.
daughter is now 10 months old,
This, and
I
then
promise you, we have
I
missed
wonder if
on
that
several
worked.
occasions cutting her
Maybe it's like
fingernails.
overdoing it
And
here.
when you don't cut a baby's fingernails, they take their hands and they claw their face, and then you come in to look at them in the crib and go, oh my God, I'm a terrible parent, I'm going straight to hell. And then you are assuaged by the fact that 24 hours later, all the wounds are gone. Unlike me, when I scratch myself now, I'm almost 40, it takes me a couple of days to heal, sometimes a week. But scratches on babies heal like, lightning fast. It's crazy. And the reason for that is down to Lin 28. So a team
Just show off a little bit here real quick.
just what you could do with Lin 28, and they found that when Lin 28 was expressed in mice to be released at a particularly high level, such that the Lin 28, the gene for Lin 28, stuck around for all the way into adulthood. They found that the mice could have their ears cut, they could have toes chopped off, and they would grow back. Now, you can't do that with people. There are all kinds of laws against giving somebody, genetically engineering somebody to manufacture lots of Lin 28 and then chop off their finger. And also, it's not Wolverine speed. The mice would regenerate within a day. Hugh Jackman on the screen regenerates in 10 seconds. And so, we're not quite at the X-Men level, but still, can you imagine if you generated soldiers who had the ability to regrow themselves very rapidly and heal their wounds within a 24-hour period? That would be
Shit.
staggering stuff.
Alright.
The problem with all of this is
It's
that
cool, I could jump out of the ground.
also
We're all good.
shut off for a reason. If you keep Lin 28 as an adult, you start to develop cancer. It causes your cells to replicate out of control. And
Yes,
so
I did,
one of the ways
Mantalis.
in which I think Lin 28
Yeah.
use is going to make very good use is in people who are suffering from
So,
kidney failure.
the animations are a little
Right now,
different than they would appear.
the only real way
And
to
I also just am using the same skeletons for both, so I have to make minor adjustments to some of them to the female occasionally. So let me see, does this this work properly now? Nope.
5 to 10 years of life, but you're going to have to be on dialysis. My grandfather opted for death. He said, I don't want it. Do not put me on dialysis. Let my
You see the difference, right?
die. I don't want it. It's just too terrible.
So I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at the
Really
thing. That's
What's
horrible.
really interesting is you could
But-
potentially use Lin 28 to regenerate the kidneys so that your kidneys would grow back and then you wouldn't need the dialysis. The trick is going to be giving somebody a burst of Lin 28 so that it's just there long enough to regenerate the kidneys and not give you cancer. And so that's the work that Harvard Medical School has cut out for it.
Well, I want to touch briefly on transformation into animals and super soldiers because of the element.
Hey, wait a second. Now it's not working on the server.
Seem to know a lot about
What the
it
shit?
times.
Well, I guess that's the opposite of what I want.
don't know how the heck you touch on that briefly.
That's
Super
right.
soldiers and turning people into animals, that is a cornucopia of material. But here, I can tell you about the really early stuff, which is, you've got Cersei, who is this witch.
Right, now it's not working on either side. Okay,
His men into animals.
which just
The
means...
story goes they're on this island called Aia. They're starving and exhausted.
if server.
They're looking for
So
someplace
I need to run
go,
on the server
and
first.
half of Odysseus' men stumble upon this mansion. And this
And
woman
since
walks
all of
in
this
and
is
says,
happening,
"I'll
maybe I
give
should just
you
do...
food, I'll give you shelter."
PV
and
camera's
all
just
but
going
one of
to
them
add
go
controller
in,
output, and
feeds them
then
food, and then she takes out her wand,
some shit
and she
here.
turns them all into beasts. Now, one of the men runs off and goes and gets Odysseus and says, Odysseus, you gotta
Maybe
go
they should
and
all
help."
just be run on
Odysseus
server.
comes running back, and he is met by the god Hermes, the messenger god. And Hermes says, "Slow down. Take this," and he gives him a milk-white flower with a black root that separates very easily at the center from the soil. And he said, "Consume this, and Cersei will have no power over you." So for years, all of this tale has been... Oh yeah, incidentally, Odysseus then consumes the flower. Cersei feeds him her food,
Doesn't really
holds her
matter.
wand to him, and the magic
Yet.
is not effect.
I have a bow and arrow, I'll
First,
probably want to
he
mess with
drops
that.
the wand, and he succeeds in saving his men. This story has been dismissed as fiction for centuries. But in recent years,
Try again.
people started to say, there's all this description of plants in it, and Cersei's feeding them stuff.
Sorry for the horns.
The literature says, into the food she mixed baneful drugs, such that the men would forget their native land. And if you look at the really early artwork that we have from the Odyssey, on the sides of pottery, Circe is not holding her wand out at people as a wizard would. She's putting her wand into a cup and stirring. So the argument that's been made for a really long time is that Circe, for 30
wait,
years,
there we go.
is that Circe was using
Hell yeah.
corn apples, or also known as
All right.
ammonium,
Fix
which
it.
is this really nasty chemical cocktail, which causes vivid hallucinations.
Alright, just gotta do it on the profile camera though.
It's difficult for people to separate reality from fantasy.
Alright, so profile camera. Several rotation, okay. Why is it not doing that?
To make the men believe they've been
Oh, wait.
turned into animals. Similarly, but on the other side, with regards to the milk white flour, no one's had any real idea what that might have been. Then, in 1951, a pharmacologist in Russia named
This is for the mouse though. Oh no, that's good. That's what I want, the keyboard while profile camera turning. Execute on servers.
Polio with a milk white flour and a black root. They were crushing the flour into a poultice, massaging it into the legs of the children, and when he asked them, "What are you doing?" they said, "We're going to stop the paralysis from the polio by putting this flour into the skin of our children." He took it back to the lab and found that there was a dramatic effect in the flour.
Here, because I'm just doing set actor rotation here. Movement input is
kept polio from harming
different.
the neurons
We
in
should
the children's
do
bodies. That drug made its way into Bulgaria and eventually into the rest of the Western world. And today, if you have any family suffering from Alzheimer's,
oh yeah, because that's the
taking a
mouse
drug
does
called
the nice.
galantamine, and it comes from a milk white flour with a black root. In 1983, a couple of researchers at the 12th World Congress of Mythology proposed that the white flour that Hermes gave Odysseus was in fact snowdrop, and that this drug galantamine is actually found in the Odyssey. They tested it on rats. They gave rats the flour before giving them datura poisoning, and they found that the flour functioned as a perfect antidote and protector against the poisoning of datura, and suggested that there was actually a lot of biochemistry in this myth. And so that story is all explored inside this book, which was an enormous amount of fun to write.
Yeah, it is interesting, and I didn't want to do an injustice to that by saying it briefly, but we only have a couple minutes left, and I don't want to leave out...
Since the actor replicates, that should just go.
Because in there you talk about
and then
the
set
research of a
is turning is
climatologist,
happening.
Leeds, who is going to make milder
Should be
hurricanes,
anyway.
but may have actually come up with a way to nullify some of the negative effects of climate
Let's see what
change.
happens here.
So I want to touch on that one as well.
Yeah, well, with COP20 going on right now in Paris this very week, this is perhaps the most important areas of magic. And in fact, if you read The Economist this week, in our very front article, one of the things that we write about is that you can use ocean winds to blast up into the air and create clouds. Now, why does creating clouds matter? Well, hurricanes are created when you blast... hurricanes are created when...
Housing is firmly in the lead. I'm glad to have some chill peeps on there.
You get this cycling where the evaporated water from the ocean goes shooting up into the sky.
Oh no.
Gets cold,
What?
falls back down as rain, and then it shoots back up into the sky again, and you get this revolution effect, and eventually it circles, and you get a horrendously powerful storm. If you could create cloud cover in the hurricane-generating parts of the world...
It's kind of funny when you turn fast, his arms swing faster. I don't know if Hurricanes. So, what's going on, buddy? You can't turn? You can't turn at all? No? That's sad.
And now
What about...
the stuff of total mythology is now very much the stuff of reality. There are all kinds of dangers with this, because if you create clouds...
I didn't even do anything to the profile rotations.
Shooting ocean water up into the sky and creating mist, you can potentially make it so that rain doesn't fall in other areas and cause drought. So it's a very challenging and difficult proposition to suggest that we...
Where's this
could
happening? Check
control the
profile
weather,
rotation.
but there's no question that we can. And that's pretty remarkable stuff. And I think that is probably the only way we're going to save ourselves with regards to climate change in the long run.
Very interesting treatment of several issues there.
Yeah, double-clicking on the node string creates a reroute node. Oh yeah, I know that. What do I need that for? I don't think this is happening anymore. Start checking profile rotation.
You're advocating for the ability to suspend disbelief
Ah, here it is. Main controller start
Knowing
checking
how
profile
something
rotation.
magical works
Okay,
shapes
but
our
that's.
experiences of it. But
Let me
it's
just try
also
this.
true that it might be that a non-believer is somehow less than that of a believer, but that's not so for you.
Yeah, so I think it's arrogant and callous to suggest that someone who is a believer is somehow missing out, or that a non-believer is somehow missing out. Each has a very different viewpoint on the world, and the only thing that I can say with some certainty, having written this book, is that once you walk down the path of becoming a non-believer, it's impossible to walk back and become.
Yeah, but for what purpose? You're like, there's
when
one.
your world is crackling with magic.
There's nothing to clean here. Why would I need to? Looks good.
And powers of sorcery
I just kind of see through the colors. I just see white lines, green lines if I need to. I look at the red lines if I need to. I don't really look at the red lines. I just see green lines and white lines, blue lines. But it's more about, I don't really even look at the lines is the point. I just kind of know where things are and how they work. It's more like in my brain, and this is the, just like, this is just it here. But to be honest, I'm just not sure how to change this to make that work, that it was from here.
It's very hard to become a believer again on the full scale. And that shapes the way we perceive things, but it doesn't make them worse. It just makes them
Doesn't this do that? Orient rotation to movement.
Marvelous book, Science of the Magical.
Yes, no.
I'd argue that science and magic are not as much at odds with each other as we tend to think. I might even describe the experience of discovering the
Like that just worked a minute ago. What did I do to break it?
We've been talking with
This is when I did server turn.
Science of the Magical, from the Holy Grail to love potions to superpowers. I'm your host,
Multicast
Dr. John.
that.
I remind you, if you don't hear our broadcast 4 times as it occurs on 88 FM, you can also catch us on YouTube channel, which is...
Stop that before I get a copyright notice. Alright, let's see. See if there's anything interesting on this tag. History of fantasy. How do you build a world history? This might be interesting. Let's see if this is crap or worthwhile.
Welcome to the Second Drafts podcast, everything you need to write, edit, and publish your way. I'm Jeremy.
I'm EJ.
And today we'll be talking about world building, and more specifically about just creating a natural history for the worlds that you want to create, which can often be a very difficult task. I'm sure that you're aware of that, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those
Okay, that worked.
kind of my favorite
Yeah.
thing to do, but it's also kind of daunting.
No, turning isn't doing it now.
So yeah, when creating a
Oh,
novel,
no, it's not.
sometimes more
Wait, that's
like
weird.
A series of novels, you're definitely going to want to.
It worked
create that
like the
rich
last time.
history, not only just for your characters, but for the locations that they're going to go to. And definitely, if you're doing something with fantasy or sci-fi,
Should run on
you're gonna
server
want
reliable.
to do
Maybe
that
it just
to
didn't get
add
reliably
that
passed
extra
through.
richness to make the world feel more real, not just for the characters, but also for the audience. And the more that you create that richness, it's going to resonate with the audience, because it's going to make everything just make a little bit more sense to what they're doing and where they're going.
We should turn the music
who
off
they meet
so it
and
doesn't
everything.
pop up all the
So,
time.
for
Seems like a
instance,
good idea,
it's
doesn't it?
Not just a city that was once ravaged by war and survived.
Okay,
It's
no,
a
now
city
it doesn't
that
wanna
will
work.
Fondly remember the
Still.
heroes that saved the city, and maybe they'll name their children
It's bizarre.
after those legendary heroes. And what we're going to be talking about here in today's podcast is, again, specifically just about history, and with the broad history of the locations, and how can you can kind of make your world feel alive. And to get started, why don't we get some tips from our very own Mr. Clark here, who has written his own epic fantasy novel, and you created a pretty big history for your own benefit while writing. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, that's right. As I said, doing the history is kind of my favorite part of the writing process many times. I think I was building this world and the history
Oh yeah, I have
of it
comments.
for like 4 or 5 years before I even ever just wrote a single chapter.
See? Comment.
It's just
Everything's
so much fun.
organized. What's this
And-
junk?
And you probably
Oh yeah,
know
this is new
so
code,
there's,
so it's not. See,
in
it's not.
each chapter,
It's
there's,
not labeled as
some
something that's
flavor
quote
text
unquote
that I've put
done.
in there.
So this is
I
like
got
that
the
thing
name
that's
for the
bugging
flavor
out
text
with the.
from, Magic the Gathering, the card game.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
The cards have these nice pictures on them, and then sometimes
Let's
they've got a nice
get.
little kind of the lore of the world
Let's see.
written there, and I thought that's a pretty neat
Mesh
idea. So I started
instead.
to do that with my chapter headings.
Socket
I
location.
put parts of the history in there.
Yeah, I always like that with the magic cards and stuff like that. I've seen those before, and I don't really play it there, but same thing with your book. I definitely really like that. It was always very intriguing. Like, it makes you think, like, okay, where's that coming from? What's it talking about? And kind of how it ties into the world, or what's going on now, or the chapter itself, sort of thing.
Yeah, it was really an incredible challenge to figure out. I mean, there's like 87 chapters to
Yeah.
think up one of those for each and every chapter. It was a bit, like I said, daunting, but
Yeah.
in the end I think it really worked to help crystallize what the world is about and what's really going on and why the characters are acting the way they are now.
Oh yeah, definitely. It made it feel more real, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So usually I search all of YouTube, not the Creative Commons stuff, so. This might be cool. Why is myth? That might be cool too. I don't know about this cover. That looks kind of stupid, but you can look up scalability reference. Learn about the graphics options. Oh yeah, no, totally. It's one of those things I just haven't looked at yet, and once I do, it'll be like, yep, I agree.
Hello, and welcome back to Lecture 3. In our previous lecture, we began our examination of some of the most important theories about myth by looking at what I call what theories of myth. In this lecture, we're going to move on to the why theories of myth and look at the psychological theories of Freud and Jung, the structuralist approaches of Propp, Lévi-Strauss, and Burckhardt. We'll also discuss the work of the very popular theorist Joseph Campbell. This century has seen the development of crucially important, extremely influential, and very complex theories about myth, which fall under the category that I've called why theories. Again, obviously, all I can do is scratch the barest surface of these theories, but we will begin with the psychological theories of Freud and Jung, and then move on to structuralist theories.
So bizarre that it worked and then
Why
it
theories
didn't work.
have in common is that they assume
But anyway,
myths
what was that
reflect
last thing I was
the
just...
same underlying
Oh, yeah,
human
this.
realities in all cultures, and that myth therefore is somehow cross-cultural or trans-cultural, rather than being specific to the individual culture in which it develops. So let's begin with Sigmund Freud. Among his other contributions to modern thought, Freud proposed that myth reflects psychological forces present in the individual, and through the individual, of course, present in society. Clearly, his most important contribution to the study of myth was his interpretation of Sophocles' treatment of Oedipus the king to develop his own, Freud's own, theory of the Oedipus complex. Freud developed the Oedipus complex as a theory after he asked himself why it was that Sophocles' tragedy about Oedipus the king was still so compelling, so electrifying to modern audiences. Freud disagreed with the interpretation given by most critics of his time, which was that it was the interaction of fate and free will in that drama that made it so compelling. The fact that Oedipus by trying to avoid his fate through the use of his free will, drives himself ever more inexorably into his fate. Freud said that can't explain its popularity because there are other dramas written about the interaction of fate and free will that are not so compelling, that do not retain their popularity centuries after they were written, or even decades after they were written. Therefore, he thought the appeal of the story of Oedipus must lie not in the fate-free will issue, but in something specific to that narrative, in the details of that story, rather than in its wider issues. And of course, the details of the Oedipus story are that Oedipus is a man who killed his father and married his mother. Freud saw this as reflecting the repressed
Start menu.
desires of all
Oh, that was
male
just
children
me
to do away with their
starting the
father
project
and
over.
have
My previous
access
videos,
to
I was
their
like,
mother.
I'm gonna just start the whole
According
project
to
over.
Freud,
Here's the first
not
step,
just
and then I was like,
Oedipus
this is
myth,
stupid. I
but
need to go
myths
back
in
and fix my
general
project.
are, in
So I
effect,
fixed my
the
project.
collective dreams of the human race. By that he meant that he thought myths utilized the same kind of imagery, condensation, and displacement that we find in our own individual dreams. And he
What else I
thought
just
that
wanted
the
to do there?
imagery of myth was similar to the imagery of dreams, and of course in both cases Freud thought that this imagery was primarily sexual in nature. Oedipus is a story about, at least in part, about a sexual relationship, but Freud saw sexual imagery in other myths as well. The second great psychological theorist of this century to grapple with myth was, of course, Carl Jung. Jung saw myths as reflections of the collective unconscious. In particular, Jung thought that myth draws on archetypes, which are contained in the collective unconscious.
The fuck?
By
That's
archetypes,
the forward
he meant,
vector?
more or less, recurrent images that exist cross-culturally and throughout time. Images such as the image of the wise old man, the earth mother, the maiden, that sort of thing. Jung thought that myth utilizes these images, these archetypes, and that we find myth compelling because we, too, partake of the archetypes as we partake of the collective unconscious. Because myth, according to Jung, reflected the archetypes of the collective unconscious, he thought that myths were crucially important, both for the individual and for society. He probably accorded more importance to myth than Freud did. Now, the psychological approach is only one universalist, or, to use my terminology, wide approach to myth. The other main school of thought that's developed
Let me turn off the
around
music real
myths
quick.
in this century is what's called
Oh, the server browser and login. No, I'm gonna keep all that.
structuralism. Is very
I might
difficult
just
to
put a nice
define
pretty background behind it. I like the white
precisely.
background though.
The best
And I might change the
definition I
design
found
to like,
given
it's
by
just
the
there for what
scholar
it needs to do
Walter
now.
Burkert, who says that structuralism is a
I can't listen to
system of
this lady talk
definable
while
relations.
thinking. It's like ruining everything. Let's go to music. Let's do this. Let's check them out. I played this one before. It was alright. I think it was just the same thing over and over again though. Try this one. Eh. Yeah. Maybe my speakers are just too loud. Alright, let's see how this goes. So the menu. Maybe it's on the controller or something. on the map. Okay. It's on the map. Because that makes sense. I was in the map. Okay. Is it here? No. We'll find the music. Is it on here somewhere? Like just a... Is it construction? That's on clicked. Close main menu and open server menu. Quit game. Where's the music being played from? Menu game mode. There it is. Should I just... I'll add it again later. That's easy enough to... Jesus Christ. Okay, and then I also want to take it out of the main map too. Because it's just irritating. It doesn't help anybody. Let's see. Zink. See, this is where I should have the sounds playing, like as a command here. On the owning client. So we'll just say, let's just... It was on the map, yeah. Alright. That's better. No music forcing me to start as quickly as possible. I guess +5 does +5 in every direction or something? It's kind of weird, eh? But anyway, is this replicating properly now? No. So weird, it literally was a minute ago. Now that the music's not bothering me, I'll probably get back to fixing that. Let's see. So what are the two things I'm working on here? Let's just say this. It's the forward vector thing. The +20 should be like in that direction. Let me just try that. It'll be like times instead. Vector times vector. Let's see, or let's just do this. So plus that. And then the other thing would be Am I trolling? I don't even know. Do you know? Are you trolling? I don't even know. Do you know? What is trolling? Thanks, Dad. No, I'm just kidding. My dad's not here. He's downstairs, so. So the mouse, this guy here. Should I just? No. So when I put that on, it worked. Then okay. So maybe it's just. I have to get to all. If server. Okay, so maybe I just run on server here. Maybe just here. Oh no, because that was also fixing that. So this should have done it, but run on server, reliable. I guess turn. What ended up happening is, oh, when I unplugged that, oh, if I do both. Ah. See, I unplugged this because normally you don't want to, but that might be what made it work, like, incidentally the first time. So let's try this again. Okay. Okay, all is fixed. Fixed a dirty. A little laggy, but I mean, so that fixes a lot. What about the profile turning? It's not even happening. What about this guy? Oops. Okay, he's doing it. Can I see it? Yes, okay. But she just isn't turning at all. So this is where I was. Okay, before I inadvertently mess things up, let us probably multicast that. And let's leave that how it is. See what happens. Sorry you had to see that, folks, but you know, it's just subversive behavior is subversive behavior. I mean, just pay attention. I love you all. Got me all distracted and shit. Alright, so what's going on with this overhead chat thing? Why wasn't that working? Why ain't that be working here? It's chat system. Let's go to the chat system. Where are we at? The controller? Oh, the profile camera though. Yes, yes. Execute on all. Did I playtest it yet? No? I got distracted talking to him. Okay. Alright. See, does he see it? No. So... nothing at all, actually. But... yeah, that's all good. Running is good. Alright. You guys want to see some clean blueprints that I've put aside? Let's show off a clean blueprint. Let me see. Where did I put that junk? Here's a nice little, like, I think that's pretty. I like these lines everywhere. Pretty organized. Yay! Okay. Anyway. To be perfectly honest, that agitated me, so I'm like, that makes me distracted. As opposed to all of this stuff that is perfectly organized in my head. I'm just a little sensitive now. I need a hug, guys. No, I'm just kidding. Why don't you want to work? This... Doing it on the server causes them to not sync up. And it's not even doing that anyway. Okay, so let's... This is not replicated. This is not replicated. Is it... Welcome to the stream. I promise not to be angry. I just deal with people who like to twiddle their thumbs a lot, and it's just like not of my concern, really, you know? It's like I don't need to worry about what someone else thinks. So, not part of my channel. But the rest of you, I most certainly welcome. Okay, now it's not working at all. This guy working? Okay. Okay. So the multicast. Do I need to run on server and then multicast? I think that's what I was doing to do some other stuff. That's kind of stupid, isn't it? What had I done here? Just execute on server. Oh, and the and thing here. Let me see if that little magic trick works here. Although I don't see why, because that's a different problem. I do kind of want it to run on the server and then multicast, so let's just try it. We'll also, this is where we'll keep this so that it happens on the client side first. Let's just take a look-see. What's up, fellow YouTubers? My name's Armando. I make games. I used to make movies. I'm also making movies. So I make movies and games. I also make music. I also take pictures. I also write. I made the models and the clothing here. It's pretty budget beta, but it'll do. I didn't make them from scratch. I used some cool tools available. So let's see if this does it now. Alright, turning here. You like the different speed that they turn at if you're, depending on where you are. Plus there's no out of sync. Sort of, a little bit out of sync. Yeah, see that? Just kind of chunk. Chunk. It's kind of weird. Wonder what's causing that. One of those events should be not like the others. Okay, so... And this ray trace is still getting cast. Is it working now? Let me just check. No, it's still going in some crazy weird direction. Anyway, when he does it, does she see? Nope. That's weird. I wonder why it's not... Or at least you can see yourself doing it, but that doesn't make sense why it would have to. That's not the intention. I could just do that without all this casting. That should be a on server, at least. Yeah. So what am I doing here? I'm gonna move right, yeah, to the camera stuff. That's why there was lag there. Set is turning. And if it's not 0. That needs to be set at the very least on server. Maybe I should do that after the math. Do like a little switcheroo here. Wait. Be right back a second. So I think the boneless spare ribs got turned into chili. I just noticed the smell was different, and I was like, oh my god, what happened? And it's just like, well, onions. So. Something really smells like burning. Hold on a second. Yeah. It's all good. Let's see. Just like to be careful. If I could type. Okay. Well. What's it been on? Not even 2 hours. I liked a few of these. This one a lot. So let's just see what it looks like by default without any fancy weird shit. I think it's basically nothing happens on the character, or the animation of turning happens maybe, but they don't actually move. Yeah, this is way better. This is my Unreal Engine 4 and Chill stream music right here. Makes me feel like I'm in the 90s, but it's the future. Or is it the future of the 90s? Oh shit, cat, get out from under there. Nope, 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 you're not allowed under there. You'll destroy everything! Aha! Okay. He's like confused. Why can I not go in there? So it works. It's doing a little chunka switcheroo thing here, which is weird. But let's see. Problem is that I don't see anything happening at all. It's just weird. And if I do this, and you look at E, okay. The client can see the server doing it. Although I think at a different rate? No, is it just I have the angle weird? Yeah. So if you're the client, I want you to do it, and I want you to run it on server. See if that little magic chickaroo actually does work here. the hell? Why is that making her enter combat mode? What the hell? The multicast is actually making him do stuff. Oh god. What have I done? Jesus Christ. Alright, well I'm gonna have to fix that, obviously. Let me just see if this works. Okay, alright, so that didn't work. And that turning thing.
А не имею любви, то я ничто. И если отдам я все имение мое и отдам тело мое на сожжение, а любви не имею, то нет мне в том никакой пользы. Любовь долго терпит, милосердствует, любовь не завидует, любовь не превозносится, не гордится, не бесчинствует, не ищет своего, не раздражается, не мыслит зла. Не радуется неправде, а зарадуется истине. Все покрывает, всему верит, всего надеется, все переносит. Любовь никогда не перестанет. Хотя пророчества прекратятся, и языки умолкнут, и знания упразднятся.
Still happening. And the other one is the server stripping. This should be. I probably made the multicast in an attempt to make this work. Shit. Okay, that works. As intended. But the right mouse button thing doesn't work on the clients now. But the first person mode does. Okay. So gotta get rid of that tree. It's always blocking the camera on spawn, or just move the spawn point. I'll get to the creative stuff later once I fix the basics. Let's see. Nope. No, it's not happening. The animation is sort of happening. It's weird that this would work. Let me just see what the difference is. So, like, mode if you're in combat mode already. Okay. Or rotation movement. Use controller rotation. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Ah. Yeah, okay, that was probably overwriting it. But, yeah, so let's see if that worked. Server works. Oh. Okay. Working. How did it make it work? Oh yeah, okay, by doing it on the here and then doing a run on server as well. Okay. So those are both two ways of doing the same idea. Basically running it and also running it on the server. So, okay, so now just why the client isn't, the server isn't seeing the client do it, but the client is seeing the server do it. Christ. Fucking kitty, get the fuck out of under the stand-up desk that could collapse and crush you to death. Like, how does he... It's okay, I was just holding the cat. Kitty. It's a bad kitty. Alright, let's see if we can do this. Cat and I. Together, we will program the greatest MMORPG ever made, because not many have been made. With only one M. Sorry. He really likes the microphone. God. He's like, no, you can't let me down. Don't put me down. I don't want to be on the ground. Nope, not a Ruski. Still doing a weird thing with yeah, what the hell? If I hold the mouse over here, it's doing something over there. Maybe it's just catching that because of a multi-console that is input trigger down stuff. Might be causing it. I don't know, it's hard to tell. I'll have to actually test that bug. I never noticed it before. Let's see. I guess for the time being, it's not the end of the world if that doesn't replicate, because that's just the profile camera. It's just really bizarre. That's just like your character sheet, basically. I would like you to be able to pose with other people, basically, though. It's important. This actor is supposed to replicate, so... I think I need to feed the cat, make some food, do some stuff. But I wasn't even sure if I was gonna stream today. Well, I was. Oh, the gamer flame should be coming back, ready to test. So maybe I'll test to see if this happens. And that I didn't notice anything weird like that, so maybe it is just a... I did test it last night and I didn't notice that happening. It's the multicasting element. So one of these... Yeah, it must just be detecting the pointer event from the other window. It's like a computer thing. Anyway, mostly working as intended. Don't know why this won't do it. I am operating one-handed here as I'm holding the cat. I don't know if you could hear him purring. I thought that might be cool if you can. It doesn't do anything. But oh, don't see anything on the server side either. Server can do it. And the client sees the server doing it. Whatever. This fuck code. Wow, who gives a shit about how the code looks? Fucking douchebag. Wow, what an idiot. Wow. Somebody must have like posted me on the internet somewhere like, hey, this jerk makes ugly code and he banned me from his chat for being a jerk about it. Let's see. I gotta go feed the cat. He's being real itchy. Let me just hop in a demonstrator. Wait for that grass to pop in. Alright. Be right back. It's in the text file. What is this shit? No. I hope this was Creative Commons. No, whatever. Who cares? So this gets muted.
Let's suppose.
And yeah, it's cool. Karasu. I don't really have anything else. It's like 16 gigabytes of RAM. Solid state drive. Still doing that animation state on. I wonder if it's because it's full screened and so it's detecting that I have the mouse hit down in another window. It's weird, right? I bet. So I'd like to test with anybody if the Gamer Flame comes back to test. There's a download available. You can check it out for yourself if you can figure out how to find that kind of stuff. If you're clever. I ain't giving no hints. Or have I? Already. Wink wink. Anyway, so this doesn't... Guarantee it's easier to hit those 3 buttons than it is for him to log into his other accounts, and eventually he'll give up once he's run out and has to make new ones. I mean, if nothing else, it just adds to the view count for my video, doesn't it? It's like each new account that he comes in here to chat with, like another view for me. So the more the merrier, right? Oy. Kids these days and the internets. What should I do if I'm not going to fix that? Because it doesn't seem like it wants to be fixed. Unless I just put one of those on it like I did here. Do this on the input move right. I wonder if it might like help with the smoothness of the motions. This is kind of what I wanted to do earlier when I was saying I was like going to try doing something similar to the replicate movement smoother. So server move right. I can't spell. I can spell, I just can't type. all these reliable things is probably a big deal too. That's probably where most of the... But it's like, how do you know what's not reliable? Let's do this from the start. Oh, I don't know if it hurt it much. Can't tell really. Oh, I should do that, turn off that thing too. I'll do that, turn off that thing in a sec. Nope. Didn't do the thing. Weird. Can't get the thing to do. Whatever, it's not an important thing. It's unreliable. Gandhi's flip-flop. If only people knew that Gandhi stopped the British from invading and taking over all of India by threatening to starve himself. And it worked! Did you guys see that video on Reddit? Like, the history of everything, I guess? That shit was funny. So we'll do the thing with the running, the character movements, ignore client movements, error checks, and correction. I don't even know how to spell Gandhi.
Welcome to the India Hangout. If Mahatma Gandhi was alive today and perhaps contesting for election, what would it have been like? Now that question can be put in many forms, but we decided to put it to someone who is an authority on the subject. So Mahatma Gandhi and the Mahatma Gandhi as we would view him today, perhaps in a contemporary context, the author of the book Music of the Spinning Wheels Within the Kulkarni, and a journalist and BJP activist. Thank you so much. Okay, no longer. Okay, and I asked Bevan at Cricketwala as always. Sudhindra, thank you very much for joining us. Your book is fascinating reading, though as many must have told you it's quite long, and it's 701 pages. But I think you tried to do something very interesting. You tried to address two things. One is the fallacy, or as you argue, that Mahatma Gandhi was against technology. And the second part is to see how that is actually being pro-technology through the use of the charkha is contextual to today's environment. So let's begin with the first, before we come to today's environment. Why was there, or is there, that continuous fallacy that he was against technology? Only because of the use of the
Mahatma Gandhi is the only leader in the world who led a national liberation struggle using technology as symbol. For him, the spinning wheel was a symbol as well as substance. He was conveying a very profound message through the spinning wheel. One, that it was a symbol of protest, that it was a protest against colonial rule that had ravaged.
I think it's just a frame rate issue, the fact that I'm running multiple clients on the same computer. I didn't see a difference. I think it's already ignoring because I have it disabled.
So, he writes again and again that technology is a great gift of God. Science, human knowledge, of which technology is the product, must not be used for exploitation, for violence, and as is being used by European powers, and Britain in our case. And therefore, he chose what can be called the most primitive end of technology. The spinning wheel has been in existence almost as long as human civilization has been in existence. So he chose the most simple thing to convey the message. One, a message of protest against colonial rule, also protest against misuse of technology. But he was not against technology per se, not against modern science per se. And this is a fallacy that has perhaps endured because of his appearance. He was rustic by choice. He was a fairly wealthy lawyer when he was in South Africa. If you see some of his earlier pictures, but and he gave it all up. He gave it all up because he said that I must live like my countrymen. And I must go to the extreme end of simplicity. Not many people know that one of the two ashrams, or in fact the last ashram that he set up in India, is called Sevagram. There is a whole chapter in my book where I said Sevagram is in fact
it says F-U.
Sevagram was his residence, was his address for the last 11 years of his life. He chose the most difficult place.
If you can't read it, maybe you're the one who's slow. Oh, okay.
And he set up.
Can I get a witness?
Because he wanted to live like the poor of India. But as I said, he converted that into an R&D center where he conducted amazing experiments in science, in health science, in dietary science, in so many village industries. So today's people, they think, he was in the charkha, he insisted on rural industry, so he is backward looking. He did not believe in modern science, which is just not true.
So now let's bring you to the present. So why is this important today? Why must we revisit Gandhi and understand this construct better?
See, Gandhi represents some of the eternal values of human civilization. They are eternal and they are universal. Irrespective of the changes in science, technology, so-called modernity, these values don't change, such as truth, non-violence, justice. So he continues to be eternally relevant. Take for example, a few years ago, the United Nations declared October 2 as the Global Day of Nonviolence, which is a unique recognition. Why? Because in a world that is still so violent, violence of so many types, the world recognizes that he is a moral force. And we need to celebrate, we need to understand the message of Mahatma Gandhi. Now this is a recognition given not just by India, it's a recognition given by the world. So his relevance for non-violence, his relevance for politics, because we are in the midst of, or rather,
Match the color to the color.
And you have titled, the theme of this discussion, to make it relevant to today's condition. For him, politics was not for power. He never contested an election, and he would not have contested an election even today if he were alive.
So that's also a criticism.
No, you see, we need people in the country who are in politics but not for power. Who
Thank you.
act as a
Thank
moral
you.
authority,
You get promoted.
to keep society and keep polity
I don't know if I can't
in
really.
the right direction, on the right course. If we don't have that moral authority, the moral
There you go, random guy. You're a moderator.
see
Keep
what
track of that shit.
is happening in the country today. So for him, he says there's a very, people used to regard him as a Mahatma. He never called himself a Mahatma. No?
Actually,
He says,
I don't know if you're actually him.
a saint who strayed into politics. I'm not a saint who strayed into politics. I'm rather a politician who is trying to be a saint.
Wow.
He says, I'm not a saint.
I can't believe I
I'm
have
just
like
trying to be
noobs
a-
all over this. I guess you're making an MMO. You got to expect it. The 12-year-olds are gonna come out.
Message would have been,
It's funny though. It's like just chill. Jesus Christ! Don't you see the title? It says chill.
because if there is
Let's see if that
corruption in
worked.
politics, there's bound to be corruption in society. If there is lack of cooperation, if there is extreme rivalry, if there is extreme nepotism, and all that you see today, then it is bound to be replicated in society. So he would have been a very, very different kind of a person in public life, as he was in his own time.
Wow, this is a heyday. Field day.
He made, he made a virtue out of being a misfit in his time. In a sense, he was anarchic to the existing or the prevailing ethos, political ethos of that time. And obviously, because he confronted the British or our colonial masters in a very unique and different way, he actually befuddled everybody. Now, if you juxtapose him in the current scenario, he's not fighting a foreign colonial force. These are his own people doing things which he may or may not approve of. How do you see him if he had been here? When we talk of the relevance of Gandhi, what would he have done? These are Indians he's talking about. Polarized Indians in many ways. What would he have been like?
It's a very important question.
And can I add a quick supplementary to that, because there's a question that's coming.
Okay.
He says, and a politician of today that reminds you most of what Gandhi would have been were he alive. First, I asked this question.
You see, for Mahatma Gandhi, as I said, politics was a means of social transformation, and in his time it was a means.
Okay, I guess the characters just rotated.
But then, he.
That's
he
true,
really
because it is.
attached a very
Let's see.
profound, very
Forward
unconventional
effect.
meaning
Let's see.
to Swaraj. If you understand Swaraj as freedom,
Z.
as national liberation, for him, Swaraj was not just Hind Swaraj, Hind ka Swaraj. And therefore, in Hind Swaraj itself, in 1909, he gives his understanding of what is Swaraj. Swaraj is Swa par Raj, not Swa ka Raj. Swa par Raj, that is rule over oneself, not just self-rule. So therefore, after independence, India, the people of India, the communities in India and individuals in India, if they do not exercise this rule over self, then society is bound to go astray. So
Jesus Christ, what a toxic day.
Swa-adhin, Swadhinata. In Hindi we have a beautiful name was freedom, which is not quite captured.
Where's the thing?
What
There we
is
go.
Swadhinata? Swadhinata means swa par adhinata. Adhin is control, self-control, self-restraint. That was Gandhi's message and method.
You know, one of Gandhi's contemporaries, who died much earlier, 1936, I think, died, was Allama Iqbal.
That's better. Alright, so long enough maybe? See what happens.
So that's the control over the self.
Control over self. And today,
Is it tilting down when I look down? No.
after this Mumbai
Let's see.
Indians and I think which is a team that you should know. Stars plays for.
Oh yeah, that's for Bangalore, Royal Challengers Bangalore.
There was a very ugly spat.
Halla Gulla.
Between not just Halla Gulla, it really became physical. Between Stark and Pollard. So I said, I hope that the next Lok Sabha does not witness.
Okay, so I'm seeing it here. If I run sideways,
And therefore, both politicians and players.
front works. See, I'm invisible.
And the meaning of Swaraj is nothing but self-control.
But if I run sideways, so I'm gonna just put another one of these. Put two of these.
And the courage to say that I am not a servant of India, I am a servant of truth. And he equated God with truth. I am a servant of God, I am not a servant of India. And he says, if India of my dreams does not come true, and if India makes some horrible mistake, then I will defy India. You know, it takes enormous courage to say such a thing.
Some people say he was anarchic.
But you know, anarchic to show the right way to society and to the world.
So there are more questions coming in. It's I guess in the same direction. It says, how would he be relevant in today's world where you have constant social media discourse? Is there any place for a sane conversation? You know, because I mean, there it was, there was something said, the newspapers carried it, but today it would be a 360-degree barrage of, attacks.
That is why Gandhi is even more relevant, because he was completely transparent. He was not afraid of anything. I mean, the nature of transparency in his personal life is something unimaginable, including in matters of his own spirituality. So, he would not have been afraid of social media at all. In fact, I have argued in my book that he would have been the first one to embrace social media, Twitter, Facebook. He used to write hundreds of letters. When his right hand exhausted, tired, he would write with left hand. Yes. You should go to Gandhi Museum in Delhi. You should see the kind of letters that he has written and what common people have written to him. So, social media.
He was an organizer of people.
He would have loved the social media because remedy was his signature. And he should or die.
That was a good one though. I gotta give him that.
It doesn't even take, Twitter has 140 characters. In 50 characters, he conveys his message. Truth and non-violence are as old as things.
So, let me bring you back to, bring you to one of the dilemmas that we are constantly faced with and questions that we are posing. How much of the heightened animosity that we see is really because of the specific nature of these elections, and how much of it is something that is common between the way we behave or the way we relate to each other as politics?
All electoral politics. Don't forget that when Gandhi was alive, we have to have elections.
There were elections in 1937, but therefore, there were very different times. The important thing is that in any society, today's or in the era gone by, differences of view, difference of perception, difference of interest are bound to be there. And they were there even at that time.
Alright, so, this is just a giant fucking graph. It's a giant fucking grid, and it's just an organizational space. X, Y, up, down, left, right. just fucking go. Like, that's how I work. That's how I roll. I can think this way. If this wasn't made for you, then it wasn't made for you. Why people always gotta be bitches about fucking using blueprints the way it was intended? It's enabling people like me to do shit that people like that couldn't even dream of. And so they get repressed fucking ego, id conflicts. Let's see. Anyway, I'm done.
He was born. So I must make an extra effort.
Ooh, look at that. I'm seeing right through this wall.
And I must, not many people know that it was Gandhiji who persuaded the Congress leadership.
But it's definitely better, right? I'm not seeing the face as I crawl along this wall.
And,
yeah?
Because at that time, Dr. Ambedkar did not have much of a social or
sort of still happening.
But he said that
maybe I should make it a little longer. Maybe put one to the side, too.
And nation should benefit from his knowledge.
They say raycasts don't really cost anything, so just have some for that. That looks pretty trippy. Anyway.
Also, the interim government, 1946, Prime Minister was, of course, Jawaharlal Nehru. He said that they should be both Ambedkar and Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Both of them were not in the Congress. But Mahatma Ji said that both should be there in the interim government because the first government of India should be truly national in character. It should represent all different points of view. See, that kind of tolerance is missing today.
Okay. Questions coming in, Surendra. So there is someone says, I don't think Gandhi has any relevance today, which is also why AAP, who tried to emulate some of those ideas, somehow did not cut through. She adds, to me, one of AAP's mistakes is the belief that leaving Delhi was more Gandhian, but it not worked for them.
Let's not take one example of what AAP did or did not do.
But the largest idea of AAP?
See, AAP and what the precursor.
You just know where your shit is. If you don't know, do you know it? That's how I make movies too. I write an entire screenplay in one sitting basically because it's the story's all in my head. So if you don't know it, what are you doing? Essentially. So like I don't even have to look at the wires. I'm not looking at the wires when I look at these blueprints. I'm just remembering what does what. It's just it's a graph paper. So that's my beef with that dude. See how this works. That's much smoother, right? I'm not seeing the face pop in at all.
No, rather it was a statement of idealism and also a fact.
Let's turn off the visibility on these things so it looks smoother.
One fraction of that movement decided to turn itself into a political party, and politics, electoral politics has its own dynamics. And AAP, we should see how well it does in the coming election. But you see, any political party, if it stays committed to its own ideals and ideology, is going to get a chance.
You get traction.
Yeah, it will get traction. That's the nature of democratic politics.
Okay. So the question is, you're saying that basically the Anna Hazare agitation being the source of the AAP is poor to the Gandhian principles of...
No, I'm saying that it represented some of the Gandhian ideals.
Okay.
So, insofar as it raised the voice to protest against corruption. But it was, Gandhian ideology, let's not use the word ideology, but Gandhian worldview is far more comprehensive, holistic.
Doesn't seem to do any difference on the game thread.
Come back to the point that I was asking. It's okay. There is a certain level of discourse that we are seeing today in the heightened animosity perhaps in the political context. What lies beyond this, right? So, elections will soon get over in a matter of days. A new dispensation.
It's looking much better. I'm not seeing that face pop in at all. You see it? It's just gone. Running into the wall. See, now the problem is that I'm still running into the wall, but that means I could probably move the camera back a bit now. If I go to the base skeleton.
That has marked the election campaign would be a thing of the past.
If you can.
Whoever gets the mandate, respected by others, and
That's not where it is.
India gets a stable government. But
It's the spring arm.
also must remain true to the foundational principles of our constitution, of which secularism is very much a very important foundational principle.
This was chill. I'll just keep playing from where it was. I think it's just the same song looped over and over again.
No discrimination whatsoever, no injustice.
Actually, it's really irritatingly repetitive.
And this is again where
repetitive.
we have to learn from Mahatma Gandhi. You know, for him, he says that for me, Hindu-Muslim harmony and unity is far more important than even independence. Independence can wait, but not Hindu-Muslim unity. And ultimately, he became a martyr to the cause of Hindu-Muslim unity.
So, Sudhir, how do we take this to the young Indian?
And
this is about saying how do we
see, and you're actually quite wrong, Positive 3D. If you watch Unreal Engine streams, they say that like Uncharted uses like thousands of ray traces. Like every NPC has ray traces from its eyeballs running to the main character to see if it's hitting. I don't think they basically say ray traces are invulnerable. Let's see. I guess I just am happy with it. What did I want to do? Shit, see these people fucking talking shit on my chat gets me distracted. I shouldn't even be in the chat, just let people say whatever the fuck they want. Or maybe I just ignore the haters. Just literally ignore them. Only respond if someone says something positive. It'll get popular enough where I can no longer run things. I'm just gonna do a little shibbity bop. No arguing. Banned. Seriously, this is a no arguing channel. Like, what part of chill? Anyway, that wasn't me, but this will be.
Talks on this, on Mahatma Gandhi in China, including in the Communist Party School of China. And you know what the response of one of the persons was? What we miss in China is Gandhi. We had Mao, but had we also had Gandhi, things would have been different.
In this country, Confucius also.
Now they are bringing Confucius back.
Think if there's any more bugs to work out before moving forward with anything. Oh yeah, I wanted to move the camera. Okay, the spring arm, that's right.
Very recently, in Turkey, in Egypt, in Tunisia.
I'm like, why am I in the look listen here?
And there seems to be some correlation between the Arab Spring, and you talked about that, right?
Exactly. And
Gandhi's own mobilization.
People, it's all there on the internet.
Yeah.
In the Indian embassies, they had a competition of artists from Egypt and India. What would Gandhi have been? What would his response have been to the Arab Spring, and especially all the things that happened?
Okay, yeah, so I can change it on the skeleton like I thought.
Some of these paintings that the Egyptian artists created.
After this though, I'm gonna chill.
Amazing. That, they see
I'm going to get offline after this, because this is basically just last little tweak before doing something new, hopefully soon. Let's say,
they see hope in Mahatma Gandhi.
So there is no doubt he's getting a second win as an iconic figure. But Sudhir, just to ask you this, I mean, a lot of people put it facetiously that the easiest way to emulate Gandhi is in a fancy dress competition because he needed dhoti and a scarf.
Actually, well that...
Much more. But otherwise, it's a very harsh, personal way of living life. It seems from the outside. The way he dresses, the way he eats, what he is. Because there's a lot of introspection, there's a lot of kind of self-punishment. Now, you have obviously also interacted with a lot of youngsters today. Do you think that there is something which they will find appealing so that they can emulate far more easily?
See, certainly, if I think that there is a quest amongst the young people, not only in India, but all around the world, for...
But is it also more around the world than in India?
I won't think so. It's around the world, including in India. It's just that, you see, you know, what has happened is that somehow we have just iconified Mahatma Gandhi without really a deeper understanding of what he stood for, what he did, and what the relevance of that for today's reality. Because let's face it, today's world is technology driven, and
Unless he's doing that
that we discussed
a little bit
he's
too.
considered somehow anti-technology.
Very aggressive, that's not popular.
But if only they knew what he really thought of technology, he was so modern. In fact, I have tried.
This is working pretty good here, but when I'm running forward, it's clipping through a little bit. So I'll just take it back a notch.
What I have tried to do in my book is how the internet, digital technology are going to validate, Gandhi. I'll give just one example, Govind. 3D printing. That's the future of the internet. Molecular manufacturing. If you permit me, I'll show you. The Economist is a highly prestigious magazine in the world. In 2012, it had a cover feature on 3D printing. It was called the Third Industrial Revolution, and I've said vindicating Gandhi's vision of Swadeshi and production by the masses. The Economist affirmed that the digitization of manufacturing through 3D printing, versatile robots and new materials, all this will transform and decentralize the way goods are made. You see, people think that Gandhi is so, outdated. He talked of decentralized.
That's too bad. I enjoyed chatting with people who are cool. I thought Neoprius was cool, but he got all jerk-facey too. Like, why do people care? Why would anyone care? I guess it's the way of the world. People care. Well, fuck that guy. Hard in the ass. 'Cause I'm still playing this shit and he ain't going to. I'll keep a list of all my blocks. I think this is working. I can see the character better.
Person-specific and community-specific.
Let me see. Oh, I just ignoring just.
No mass manufacturing, and therefore not all this advertising business, just overproduction and making people buy what they don't really need. Much of all this is going to be outdated in the decades to come, and therefore I'm saying that technology is going to make Gandhi not just relevant but true.
But this is in complete contrast to the popular, enduring myth, perhaps, of Gandhi
Still doing that thing though.
And why is doing that?
Because this is where we really need to get some irrefutable evidence. 1945, for example, Gandhi writes a letter to Nehru. Everybody knew that at the end of the Second World War,
What's triggering it?
independence was approaching. Sooner or later, India would be free. So Gandhi initiates a very important correspondence with Nehru, saying that India is going to be free.
Can't figure out how to replicate it.
What should India be like after it attained independence? And there he presents
Maybe it's just because the grass is still popping in all over the
his
island.
dream of the future India. And it very clearly says
Seems pretty good now.
best of technology.
I'm not seeing the face pop in the screen.
Technology. It's all there. People are not aware. So on the one hand, he was a personification of spirituality, but he also had deep faith in the power of science and technology. But science and technology not for exploitation,
Oops.
not for violence, not for wars.
Not for creating bombs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's specifically talked about. So then we've run out of time. Right. So thank you so much, Ayaz. Thank you.
Hey,
I think
sorry.
That was an excellent,
That guy was cool.
Of, Sudhindra's book, Music of the Spinning Wheel. It's an a long book, but
So the spinning wheel, Mahatma Gandhi's manifesto for the internet age.
internet age.
It's a manifesto for the internet age.
And that's why you're watching this broadcast. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again on the India Hangout.
I feel bad. That guy was cool, and I accidentally banned him along with that idiot. I don't think I can, like, message them on here. Huh. I found their page. I subscribed to him, so hopefully he gets the idea that it was a mistake. He might be like, why did I get banned? I hate it when that shit happens. It's like... Pretty smooth, pretty smooth. Oh, I got stuck on the rock. Is he disappearing as I run through the trees at all? That seems pretty cool. The tree problem was up here on the hill, though. That's awesome. Me too. I got banned from the Mars Volta message board that the band themselves hates. They call it the Coolotorium, and I've been there for years because I'm like all about that counterculture, and it's like the haven of counterculture, IMO. But it's been taken over by like these fucking normies, man. These fucking just boring ass people talking about cars and cocaine all day long, and it's like they don't literally talk about cars, but that's basically it. And there's this fucking Trump supporter on there talking shit all day long, and the worst thing is the people arguing against him, which validates him. And it's just like, dude, this is not the forum I signed up for. So I started ranting and raving and pointing fingers, and everyone, well, how's it go? There's a Tool song about me. No. Anyway, so I got banned. I got perma-banned by IP because I kept going back with new accounts just to like troll them harder. Those fools don't know what's up. There's a Facebook group that's 10 times more entertaining and popular. That place has just died because of that very behavior. That place has just died. There's no one there anymore. It's such a sad thing. I literally was sad that day. It was my favorite place on the internet, the Comatorium. And now, it's dearly departed. Yeah, you can gift me something. Alright, so I'm gonna play test with this guy. Let's do this. Gotta change this back to US. So that's the way I could connect to my Polish friend. It was pretty sick. I played with a guy from Poland last night. Alright, so let's do this. So I'll just close the editor. And let's go to the exported one. That's him right there. He just hopped in. Okay, so your internet good? Maybe he should host. I could have quit instead, but oh god. Landscape auto material. Flexible auto painting material. That's cool. That's basically what I got. What I did, I should say. Okay, he says now. I'll host it for him.
Welcome
I just smashed the keyboard.
to the halls of creation.
I fucked up the ceiling for this demo. So there's no light. I'm sorry, there's no window pane up there. There he is. Alright. Doing our first primetime playtest with the Gamer Flame. Where'd it go? Ah. It's not bad. I mean, it's not the best movement replication. This is before I did anything today. This is yesterday's. So hopefully I don't know if he's watching this. I think he's just playing. So I told him to press E on the mirror. Let me see. Okay, I'm testing. I'm pressing right mouse button too. It's not making him change his animation state, I think. Yeah, that's good. That was a problem of running two instances on the same. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Thank God. So that's a good test of that. You see, he's not triggering it. It's not triggering, sorry, so you have to be able to, I don't know why I tried fixing that for days. Intimidating, man. All right, cool. Yeah, it's changing. It's pretty cool. Haha. Awesome. Close the I closed the door on him. Woo, there he goes. See if I can see him from up here. Should be there. He is. Little speck. Wait. See if we see him moving around down there. Yeah, wait, there he is. Yes, I see him. Little speck. Oh my god, that's awesome. Of course, I'll work with replication distances later on so that that doesn't happen. But for now, it's pretty cool. Whee! I forgot to close the chat window, so it's all buggy. Because the sun really passes this quickly in real life, as we all know. You can see how stats work. This is before I fixed that, which I fixed today. Wanna kill. That's in another project. Stupid emote. Anyway. Skeleton I use, I'm with the skeleton right now. Interesting. Where'd he go? Oh, he's down here. Most of the problems you see with movement is actually happening because on the listen server, clients, and apparently my own clients, my own self, look a little jittery. But we'll see. So, yeah, I mean... It's a tab. Oh. Yeah, that's what I was working on today too. Anyway, I'm gonna log off in a bit. Thanks for watching, people who aren't spam bot people. I don't know what was up with that. That was weird. See you later.